Hello and welcome back to the Seleucid campaign where things are getting a little hot and spicy the way you should like it, and we are now kicking up a war against the Ardiaei, who are probably the worst faction in the game by all accounts, both in terms of diversity, units, and excitement in general. But I'm going to be crushing them under Hoof of Elephant and Cataphract just for fun. Yeah, just because we can. Because, I mean, that's the way history was, right? History was cruel. So we're going to be crushing the Ardiaei. And I wanted to start things off with a fun comment here. In the last episode, I asked you all, in the hypothetical of you had to choose either an Empire 2 or a Medieval 3 as the next historical total war, which would you choose? And there was a lot of hype for Medieval 3, and that's totally understandable. But I have to admit, people seem to be really hard-pressed as a choice between these two. And I would hope that that's something that CA is taking a pulse of and taking notice of. There is clearly an enormous demand from people to return to these titles. And I thought Nick Bovey Gazette here had a really great comment. He said, I'd be happy for a while with just a Medieval 2 remastered. Now, Nick, I think that a lot of people would be pretty excited about that. And I don't have any doubt that after seeing what happened with Rome Remastered, I would not be shocked at all to find out that Feral is working on a Medieval 2 remastered. It would be a very similar project. Medieval 2 and Rome shared a lot of code and stuff. I mean, they were fairly similar in many respects. So I would not be at all surprised to find out that Feral is working on it. And I think they should. I think Rome Remastered, I don't know if it's going to be like a platinum hit or something in terms of sales, but I enjoyed the crap out of Rome Remastered, and I'm probably going to play more of it at some point. I don't know if I'll play it on the channel or just on my own, but I'm likely to play more of it. And in terms of just being good old-fashioned fun, that it was. It was just a whole bunch of fun. So I think they should remaster at least Medieval 2. Honestly, Empire could really use a remaster as well. Any of the old titles, I mean, at the very least, could just use movement, like mouse and keyboard updates to the more modern Total War type of control scheme and camera schemes. Even that, like Napoleon, for instance, it doesn't really need like a remaster per se. It just needs updated controls, and it would be fine, right? That game would still stand, updated controls, maybe a couple of tweaks to the AI. And Empire needs a little more help. It needs quite a few tweaks and bug fixes to the AI, and then updated controls. Probably a few updated, what do you call it? Textures. That's the word that my brain was thinking of and couldn't seem to pull out. Yeah, some updated textures. I'll bet Empire and Napoleon are related in terms of engine. And again, you might be able to pull some of that stuff from Napoleon back into Empire. I don't know. It'd be really curious, but I do think that at the very least, a Medieval 2 remastered would make a ton of sense. It would be extremely popular, and understandably so. Looks like we're going to get the Ardiaei pushing out against us. A little bit shocked to see this, to be honest. Keep pushing, so I am pretty shocked. There's an Illyrian cavalry making its way out. It'll fall to my Median cavalry almost certainly. I'm gonna bring my elephants in to assist. There's an Illyrian spearman coming after me on this flank. I'm gonna go ahead and get these javelin men. Bring my cavalry over. I did not expect the Ardiaei to sally out against me like this, so it's brave of them, and I respect it. Somehow that Illyrian cavalry was actually winning in that fight. That seems extremely unlikely. But, whatever. Alright, the AI is going to blob up against me over here with Illyrian levies and Illyrian spears. I'm busy taking out the Illyrian javelins in the vicinity. I'm going to let my pike line, of course, just hold, while I move in elephants to reinforce. My Indian war elephants over here definitely turned this fight against the Illyrian cavalry. I don't think the Illyrian cavalry should have been doing that well at all. But maybe my stats remembrance on Median cavalry is just really out of shape, but in multiplayer back in the day, I would have never thought for an instant to expect. I cannot remember if Illyrian spears have javelins. If they do, I might be about to take a nasty volley here. Alright, things are going just fine. I'm gonna let my Indian war elephants stay in this fight. I'm gonna pull the Median cavalry out of here. Alright, we routed that Illyrian spear. The Ardiaei units are going to be of extremely bad quality. That's just a hallmark of being the Ardiaei.
Our general is under attack.
The Ardiaei are very, very poor units in general, which is why they were such a terrible meme of a multiplayer faction. Almost all their units were bad. Alright, I'm going to do a little work here. Crush those Illyrian spears. My thorax pikemen are busy doing some cleanup work as well. I'm going to take my archers off fire at will so we don't end up with any friendly fire against our own elephants. The naval troops for the Ardiaei are now coming into play. Pull my elephants back. I'm going to get my archers over here ready to help against this. The Illyrian hoplites are lasting a little longer, which is expected. Hoplites are far more defensive than anything else that the Ardiaei brought to the table. Alright, there we go. So we got the rout. The Ardiaei were soundly defeated in this battle. I do mean soundly. Let's get to some of your comments, though, from the last episode. I'm going to read some of these on screen just to thank you all a little extra for taking the time to continue to support. Your support in this campaign is absolutely fantastic. I love making this for you, and obviously I enjoy playing Rome 2 because I played it so much. It's not like I stopped enjoying it just because I like Warhammer, but I get a ton of enjoyment out of this just knowing how much you all are excited for it. I've got about 4,000 to 5,000 of you who just love this campaign, and then many hundreds of you who take the time to hit the like button and leave comments on every episode. And I would encourage you, if you haven't done that, do it. Get in there and help. It's such a small thing, and it helps a lot. Helps a whole bunch. That support has made this campaign the most popular thing on my channel right now. Right? In an age of Warhammer, the most popular thing on my channel right now is Rome 2. And it's probably not because I have more viewers, per se, who are excited about Rome 2 than Warhammer 3. I guarantee I have more viewers in total. Just my Warhammer viewers aren't very active right now. Like, I know I have a ton of them, because I remember seeing it back in the day whenever Warhammer first launched, and then even up until recently. But my Warhammer viewers aren't active, or they're just watching someone else right now, which, again, is fine. I'm not bashing them for it. Just saying that right now, Rome 2 is garnering much more support on my channel than Warhammer is, and I appreciate it, and I would love if my Warhammer viewers would do the same. So I appreciate you all. You're fantastic. Please keep it up. It helps a lot. Anyway, let me get to a few things, and then I'll read the comments, at least some of the comments. I won't be able to read them all. This army should probably stay to help protect Africa. Hannibal has gone on to Italy, and he's waiting for his movement points, and he is going to be very close to kicking the bucket. We've got this army. It looks like the Gaiatuli siege of Carolus failed, which is good for me. It's an opportunity for me to spring into action here.
It is an honor to serve.
Right, I'm going to bring my troops ashore. I don't know why I can't land right there, but it wouldn't let me.
Ready for battle. At your command.
I'm going to go ahead and move up as close to the Roman settlement as I can. They've got a fleet here. I was a little bit concerned about said fleet. I'm going to take this spy and go take a look at the Gaiatuli holdings up there. And then I don't want this fleet to get ambushed, so I'm actually probably... I'm going to sail back over here for now. I should be out of range of the Romans. We've got some cash left over. It's not a ton. It's a little bit. We're still having some loyalty issues with some of these other parties. They may not be happy that I continually send them on diplomatic missions, which end up failing and getting their family members killed. But they just keep being happy that I'm sending them, so You know, why not? When in Rome, huh? Get the joke? We're almost in Rome. Why does it cost so much to send this party? So annoying. You know what? No. Go ahead and rebel. I'd like to see you try. I'm just gonna check for patchy factories and then save some of my money for the next turn. I wish this would go in the same order that it does up here so that I can follow it along the list. I'm using the arrow keys. Okay, so we started with Syria. So when we see Syria again, we've checked every province. Yeah. Just going through and making sure I'm not going to create slums, which we deemed patchy factories a long time ago on this campaign. Alright. Nope, nothing there. Alright, so we are free to end a turn, and I want to do that. I want my movement points so I can carry on some of the more exciting wars and action that's going on, so I'd like to focus on that. So here we go. I am ready to get back to those comments. Let's end the turn. Lazard Lord says, I'm more interested in Medieval 3, mainly because of the period. Even more so if it goes into early powder units like Medieval 2 did. I'd like to see the towns and castles mechanic come back too. I'd make the campaign a lot more dynamic and give you a different challenge in different campaigns. Now, Lazard Lord, those are some interesting points. Although I'm not as into the medieval time period by a long shot as I am the ancient time period, I would say this. Three Kingdoms, despite whatever people think about it, some people love it, some people hate it, some people are in between. Three Kingdoms actually introduced a very, very interesting idea, which is you could start the main campaign in different time periods. Look at this. The Gaiatuli think I'm going to back them up. That's hilarious. Anyway, yeah, you can start your campaign in many different time periods. Whether it was earlier, in the middle of, right? And so I think it'd be cool if you did a Medieval 3 game and your starting point was a slider that you could pick, and it kind of represents what was going on historically. And so let's say that, for instance, you want a really difficult challenge, and you're going to pick, like, late Byzantium or something so that you can try and reestablish the Roman Empire. But you want it to be difficult, you know what I mean? Like, so maybe you can pick a later game and try and reestablish, or... You pick an early one because, I don't know, whatever, right? You see what I mean? Like, I think having the different time periods available would be absolutely awesome. A feature that people would really love and gravitate towards, and I think it's something that has to be in historical games, regardless of whether it's Medieval 3 or Empire 2 or whatever it is. I think it has to be in historical games from here on out. It helps provide that extra bit of spice that would make things interesting. Look at all these artillery ships coming in as reinforcements. These guys get to hold out for up to 4 turns. I am going to need some siege engines, though. Let's continue the siege. I love how I just took a dump on the Gaiatuli and didn't help them. I am not in the least bit feeling bad about it. It's like the Rome lost control of Rome again to the Velathri. I'm going to make sure my agent doesn't get too close to uncover the fog of war at Rome. I'm going to actually head over here towards Massilia. I really want the Romans to be in control of Rome, ideally. Dang, they were back in control of it, and now they've lost it again. Let's take Hannibal forward to Neapolis. Just a small Roman fleet there. I guess we may have to play this out as Hannibal liberating Rome from the barbarians and teaching them who really wasn't the barbarian all along, right? Because Rome, always kind of considered Hannibal and them as barbarians, but we'll see who the real barbarians were. It's probably going to damage up Hannibal's elephants a lot. There's a lot of javelin units there, and I swear the AI's first thought, oh no, we actually got away with that pretty clean. That was pretty clean. Yes, it did more damage to the elephants than it should have, but it was surprisingly minor. Actually, I'm gonna convert this over to the Shrine of Poseidon. Do that, so we'll actually get Neapolis. Converting. We've got some tech that we need to be researching. Irrigation ditches. That one opens up cattle ranch. This one just starts to build our wealth. Minus 20% to political action cost. That wouldn't hurt. Because right now they're very expensive. Looks like it continues to drop the cost of political actions as we go up and increase tax rates. Plus 6%, plus 4%, 3% public order. I'm gonna work on this. I kind of like the extra tax rate and public order.
Ready for orders.
Yeah, the Helvetii have a decent-sized army inside of Rome right now. So we may just have to be liberating Rome from the barbarians and showing the Roman people how the Republic looks better under the rule of Antiochus and his Marshal Hannibal. Alright, so the Ardiaei should be in a bad position. I can push north along the Illyrian coast to Epidaurus.
Let them cower. Our
And there we find another Ardiaei army standing in our way. I'm surprised it's going to stand its ground. They've got some Illyrian raiders, Illyrian levies, spearmen. They're going to get some reinforcements from the garrison army, but this is still going to be just an absolute raffle stomp. So let's get that stomp started. Simon says, to be honest, I'm not really invested in either Empire 2 or Medieval 3, but if I had to choose, I'd take Empire 2. The idea of a huge world map with most of the continents represented sounds fun. Correct. I think basically having all the continents available, except for Antarctica for obvious reasons, would make an Empire 2 very, very awesome. So I agree. Says, One Rio Dream comments, I think I'd be more excited for Medieval 3. I feel like the cavalry charges have improved so much since Medieval 2, and given the importance of heavy cavalry in the period, just looking forward to the epic charges that you could do. I'd hope they would make a lot more complex, though, with more maps, more complex political system to match. Agreed. I think that the cavalry charges would be epic if they did it right, especially considering some of the improvements made into the more modern Total War engines. Though heavy cavalry charges were pretty punishing in Medieval 2. However, I do, to your point, think that they could be made to look a whole bunch more epic. And I also agree that that game is going to benefit if they take the time to really flesh out the maps a lot like they did with, say, Troy, and then bring in the faction diversity like you have in Warhammer. So make me really care about playing a campaign as the Scots, and then make it really different when I decide to play the campaign as the Byzantine Empire. And then again, make it that much more different when I go to play the Holy Roman Empire, right? Make it count. Make it really different for me to play one to the next. The Mongols, you know, has to feel completely different. Have special stuff like fortresses and castles maybe be separate of, say, like an actual city settlement, or if there is a city settlement right along with the castle, you know, that's fine, you know, because that kind of stuff happens. But take your time and really make that game something special. And I think they could. I think Medieval 3 has all of the possibilities you need to make a historical Total War game that would easily compete with fantasy in terms of popularity and replayability. Now, I think they could do the same in an Empire 2, but I'm just saying that personally, I think Medieval 3 would be even easier to make that game extremely popular to everybody, and to make it, like I said, every bit as popular as the fantasy genres and every bit as replayable. Because people love the medieval time period. They just do. They really like it. And I don't think it's going to take much to get people super hyped for it and to make it really fun. So like I said, I think most of the elements are there for a really awesome game. I'm going to help support against some of this cavalry. I do not know if their cavalry have javelins, so I'm going to be a little bit careful with their cavalry.
Yours to command. Melee infantry. Double time.
I didn't come all this way with my generals to get them killed by mercenary Illyrian cavalry. I have to play it a little bit safe here. Inspire my Medians. My Thorax swords are performing extremely good. Oh my gosh, I didn't have my archers on a guard mode. What a mistake. They weren't on guard mode, and so they pursued the enemy general after I gave the attack order on him. What a mistake. Air on point as ever. And I'm working against that Illyrian cavalry. Get some of these slave javelins. I gotta clear out some of the mess over here. And I got my general engaged now. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. That's friendly fire. You gotta remember to take your units off of fire at will when you're operating your elephants nearby, and I forgot right there, at least momentarily. Really lucky I didn't take any losses in that elephant unit. Alright, so the Ardiaei are being crushed, and I'm not terribly surprised at their fate. Their units are just inferior on every level. Unless being crap is a measurable metric, in that case, the Ardiaei are really good. Yeah, anyway, again, just to kind of keep beating this dead horse of discussion, I think that Creative Assembly has all of the knowledge and, you know, stuff that they should need to make an incredibly popular historical game. I think that all of the elements have been made and exist in other Total Wars already. All they need to do is just put it all together. That's all they have to do is just put it together, and they will have an incredible, incredible historical Total War experience that I think will re-energize the fan base around the kind of base genre that was Total War, which was the historically based titles. Again, I have no problem with the fantasy genre. I love the fantasy genre. I think it's fantastic that they added it to the Total War franchise. What I don't want is for the historical games to be forgotten or neglected just because the fantasy is maybe easier for them to do in some respects. Because, like I said, I definitely think that all of the elements as far as gameplay and other stuff are there. They're already existing. All you have to do is just improve them and launch them. And you've got it. Right, you've got a wildly successful Total War formula. Anyway, there we go. Some of the Ardiaei units do have some cool skins, but that's just typical of this game in general. It's not necessarily specific to the Ardiaei. Who wouldn't like painting these as like tabletop minis, kind of like the Games Workshop Warhammer minis? How cool would that be to have little Roman and, you know, Greek like little miniatures and stuff you could paint up? That'd be really awesome. Like, especially looking at the color schemes and stuff that you see in this game. It'd be a lot of fun. All right, let's get to some more of the comments here. I'm gonna keep checking in with those. Zainzy says, I can't tell you how pumped I was for this moment. I've been binging the series because I recently found the campaign and your channel since I just got into the Total War game and series, and man, your skills when you play the battle's absolutely nuts. Well, I feel like I've got a lot to improve on, but thank you. He says, thanks for the consistent, awesome content. Hope your day is great. Okay, time to watch the video. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to leave a comment. Definitely appreciate the kind words. I certainly feel like there's a lot of people out there who are more skilled than I am when it comes to the Total War games. I feel like with age, I'm getting worse, but maybe not. I don't play a lot of multiplayer content anymore in any of the Total War games, so I will be playing multiplayer and say like Warhammer 3 and other new games as they release. I'm not going to give up on multiplayer. I actually just find that I enjoy the single player more these days, you know? I just do. Not to say I don't enjoy multiplayer content, but sometimes like it's nice to just sit down and play the way you want to play, right? Not be forced to have to play the way that others are. I keep forgetting to raise these settlements. I should have raised them, but they're under Greek influence already anyway, so it doesn't matter. This one's not. So Apollonia was okay to occupy. I should have raised Epidomnos. But in any case, yeah, I'm just more into single player these days. Just of more interest to me. But, again, doesn't mean that I have all of a sudden lost any interest in multiplayer by any means. Apollonia. It's public order hit, public order hit. Actually not getting a ton of public order. From commerce, that one's... Just gonna put the gathering place in here, gymnasia. Alright, so Hannibal has moved north. He is ready to strike at a Helvetii-controlled Rome. Not exactly what we expected. Not exactly what we expected. Alright, let's get some of these buildings underway. Do I have towers? Not yet. So let's continue the siege. Yes, I forgot that we just undertook that. So we are safe in North Africa. In fact, Africa as a whole is now very solid. And some of it's even fairly well defended, but we've got a lot of good buildings up. I mean, things are looking quite good in Africa. And I do believe it's going to be time for us to end another turn after we make a move with our king. So the Heralds of Thanos, I'm going to make the move to Segundon. Kind of keep moving north here where I can keep putting pressure on the Ardiaei. I'm making my way through Illyria so that I can break into this area, which should have been under Roman control, but will now be under my control. Cimmerians, interesting. Yeah, Cimmeria's got a little bit on the map here. Nothing insane, but they're on the map. We've got a character who's skilled up. It's going to be the Defenders of Olympus. And it is their commander, which this is one of Hannibal's adopted heirs, I believe. There we go. Which is why we're training them in the way of cunning. Not going to do anything from a political standpoint this turn, other than I had a son come of age right here. I want to get him married, but he doesn't have the gravitas for it, so we'll need to try and do something about that. Minus 5% corruption faction-wide, that would be good. Morale for Elena, it's a reduction in mercenary hiring cost. Extra melee attack. And we'll do that extra chance of wounding enemy agents. The attempt. Alright, so we can send a gift. Plus 8 gravitas for this character. It's going to cost me a lot of coin. But I'm going to go ahead and do this. Hold some games in Africa. So that'll increase the gravitas of my character. It's going to cost almost all of my money. But what I was attempting to do too was to get enough gravitas with these characters that I could get them married. So they're at 8 gravitas and it takes 20. I've got a +1 per turn here. I've got 12 on this character because we already did the games thing. So we'll have to keep building their gravitas to get them married so that we can continue the family tree. So it'll be a bit of a pain in the butt and a lot of cash siphon. I actually made a tweet. It was funny. H for Havoc had a tweet. He's another I would say a Total War YouTuber. He does a whole lot more than Total War. He's just another content creator who happens to also create a fair bit of Total War content. But he had a tweet that was kind of making fun of someone. I guess a journalist had written something about like some RTS game that they enjoyed because it was all about the battles, unlike Total War where there's too much of a political layer. And course, Havoc was like scratching his head, like, what? And he was joking, saying this is how to tell someone's never played Total War. So I made kind of a funny, tongue-in-cheek type comment back, obviously, making fun of the political system in Total War, stating that basically it's just you insert funds to avoid civil war, which is exactly what the political system is in this game. And sure enough, that's exactly what I'm doing here. It's just click button, insert funds to get result. Like, it's really, really bad. And I know a lot of people act like that having this added to the game was such a huge deal. It's really not. Like, I think having the family tree and stuff is pretty nice, but the politics system is honestly pretty lackluster. It's pretty bad. It could be much, much better. And some people might, well, how would it be better? Look at Crusader Kings 3. I'm not saying that this game has to be a complete hybrid of like a Paradox game. Just take some of the stuff. Just take some of the stuff from Crusader King. Look at that. The Arverni moved in, so the Romans are down to like their last settlement over here. So we're gonna have to fight the Helvetii for control of Rome, and that honestly looks like a pretty epic fight for Hannibal. I'm gonna do this. Oh, that army! They're in force march. I can ambush them. Ooh, the Helvetii are gonna get destroyed, and then I'm gonna be able to sail in reinforcements from Illyria. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. Things are about to get very, very spicy. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm so excited. This is gonna be fun. Anyway, yeah, so the politics system in Total War games is honestly terrible. It is just bad, and there's no two ways around it. So for someone to be saying that Total War is all about like too much of a political layer, they're crazy, and they haven't played the game. Total War is definitely about the battles, and always has been about the battles. And first and foremost, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm fine with that. That's what Total War should be about, first and foremost, is the battles. Now, does that mean you shouldn't try to have a really good system in place? Of course you should try. Like, you should definitely try to put a really good system in place in terms of being able to have good politics stuff. And I think they could, and I definitely think they should be taking those lessons from Paradox, who, in my opinion, has the only games that make politics fun. And Crusader Kings 3 specifically makes politics actually fun. Like, it really is hilarious. Like, if you haven't ever played that game, like, it is an absolute riot. I played a multiplayer version of it once with Italian Spartacus. I think we had H for Havoc in there. We had Turin and a few others. I don't remember who all we had in the game, but oh my gosh, it was fun. It was hilarious. Like, Spartacus is out, like, seducing other people's wives, and then, you know, kings are getting betrayed, like, backstabbing wars. I mean, it was like a soap opera of a multiplayer game, and it was absolutely hilarious, like, the shenanigans, and it was fun. You know, like, I can't remember laughing so much as I did during that game a long time. It was so much fun. In any case, that's the kind of stuff that Creative Assembly needs to look at putting into their games. Look at this, we get to ambush this guy. He had all their best troops too. He had some of their short swords and axe warriors. He's got an Oathsworn general too. That is a very tough melee unit, very tough. Got some mercenary spear women, spear brothers, mercenary longbow hunters. That's a pretty good mercenary unit there too. So some pretty decent units all around in this army, but Hannibal is not pleased with the Helvetii spoiling his prize, and even in his old age, he's going to spend one last opportunity here teaching the Romans how things are done, so they couldn't even defend their own city. So he's a little annoyed, right, that the Romans tried so hard to defeat him and eventually managed to do so because of the, you know, no help from his own faction and just their, you know, their overwhelming resources and stuff like that. And so now he's going to poke fun at the Romans by showing them how to defend their own territory while in their own backyard. So he will no doubt never let the Romans live this down, watching their own settlements have to be retaken by the former Carthaginian commander, now Seleucid hero. All right, there we go. I want to try and pin their cavalry back here, and I think we can succeed doing it. It is very fast, light cavalry, but I think we can pin it and hold them in position.
Form Phalanx.
Alright, I'm actually gonna start the battle. I gotta start moving forward over here. I gotta start moving forward over here. Alright, I'm trying to pin their crap up against... Oh, nope, just forget it. You're not gonna be able to catch them. Alright, I'm gonna stop and get all my pikes down. It was a little bit of a sloppy charge, but should be okay, all said. Sorry, I got a lot of clicks to do right now. I've got to get rid of this horse skirmisher out here before it slaughters my cataphracts. It's already gotten started. That light horseman has a javelin volley. That could be very dangerous to my elephants. I don't want Hannibal to die to a javelin volley this late into a campaign. Looks like they're not interested in me at the moment. Alright, we are cleaning up all these units, though I am getting absolutely slain by that Germanic scout rider. I'm gonna keep pushing this way, so the envelopment is essentially done. My pikes did manage to get their pikes down. I intercepted this light cavalry over here with no severe damage to Hannibal. And then that Germanic scout rider is about to get massacred, so the damage to my cavalry is about to cease. Oh man, we are getting... Oh, that's the Oathsworn. I was like, holy cow, I'm getting owned over here, and then I forgot that was the Oathsworn where their general's at. No wonder I'm getting owned. Run for your filthy little lives. Yeah, no wonder we were getting slaughtered by an Oathsworn there. That is quite expected. I've got to get some units out here to help busy that Oathsworn, till I can hold it to get some proper resolution. Pretty impressed with the fight that the Helvetii have put up, despite being horribly caught in an ambush here. Like, this is their worst nightmare. All intents and purposes, they got to face this heavy Hellenic army with all of the right tools to deal with them. But impressive performance from a few of their units. It really is. Alright, here comes Hannibal to help clean up that Oathsworn. That Oathsworn is going to shrug off basically everything I just threw at it. That's fine. I'm going to run a unity here. Second win the group. Stampede. Pull on through here. And then I'll use my other second wind ability after the Stampede is over to get Hannibal back up to full fighting. But see, that makes all of my Thurio Spears fresh. This Oathsworn is probably worn out really bad. Because the AI probably used their special ability, which ends up tiring them out a ton. Inspire those Thurio Spears, put a push against the Oathsworn. There we go, we killed him. So Hannibal trampled the Oathsworn. That is a pretty decisive victory against the Helvetii. Helvetii, I should say. I don't know how to pronounce it. However they want their name pronounced. Very successful, regardless. We did take a ton of damage on our Thorax Sword. That is totally expected. That is not AI cheats. I would expect an Oathsworn to absolutely massacre a Thorax Sword unit, regardless of having that many chevrons. Oathsworn are superior, period. The Thorax Swords. They're just a superior unit.
We hunger for battle.
I think we are caught inside the... Yeah, we're caught inside the influence zone of the enemy settlement. If I retreat now, I think I can get out of that influence zone. Yep. And I'll still have a fair bit of my movement points. Indeed we do. So the Helvetii have taken significant losses there. They've got a lot of reinforcements, though. I'm going to go ahead and fall back to Neapolis with Hannibal and replenish and just kind of bide our time. We just wanted to say hello to the Helvetii, or the Helvetii, right? We wanted to say hello and let them know who they were dealing with. Rome does need to be conquered by Hannibal, ideally, here. You have siege engines now. I'm going to keep waiting this out, though, for one more turn. That way I can better fight this, hopefully with a little less damage. And I have my fleet. This enemy fleet concerns me a lot. Like, a lot of onager ships. It is a very real concern. There's a lot of Numidian transports floating around. I don't know where they're headed or what they're up to. I really need to keep an eye on. They were standing over here on my border. So I'm not really sure what the Numidians are up to. We might want to take a look. No doubt they hate me because of my power. No, they don't hate me, actually. Kind of surprised. I mean, they do have a lot of hatred towards me because of my power, but there's a surprising lack of dislike going on here. See, I would think a defensive alliance would look pretty appealing because you have similar stuff going on here. Can't really do a whole lot to improve my relations with Numidia right now, other than maybe offering them a gift or something, which I may do, just to try and keep things civil for as long as possible. So I've got my 2 armies here. Do I dare auto-resolve? I'm gonna quick save this, just in case we get screwed over on the auto-resolve here. I'll save scum it if I have to. I kind of want to just auto-resolve this, get it over with, though. Despite the auto-resolve saying like you're going to have 92% of your forces remaining, they may treat a couple of your units very, very badly, and that's exactly what happened here. They basically took my elephants and cavalry and killed them. So it's like, oh yeah, everybody survived, well, except for these units, because they must have just suicided forward. So again, I don't understand how the auto-resolve calculates these losses. It's obviously extremely flawed. It's a Balkan thing, so we're going to raise this settlement. Help convert it over. So we'll build it up in our own image here. There we go. So Illyria is being rebuilt the way that Antiochus wants it to be. Can't fortify in the current stance, that's fine. But we have basically defeated the Ardiaei. They have been put down, shut down, destroyed, whatever you want to call it. Any combination thereof. Cynthia. Neapolis. Okay, I think I'm going to... do have some cash left to spend. I'll go ahead and make some upgrades in Africa. I've been pouring a lot of money into Africa, and I'm going to continue to do so. Honestly, though, I don't think we need any higher level on the Grove of Nymphs. It's just not going to do a whole lot of necessary work, so I'm going to hold off on that. Let's go ahead and end our turn. And I'll get to some more of the comments from you. DA Wins says, also the Confederation and Nomad Horde mechanic in Attila is similar to Warhammer faction mechanics in this video, which is why I low-key prefer Attila. Yeah, there were some improvements made coming into Attila. Like, no doubt about it. Where is this? Is this Lily Bayum? It is Lily Bayum. I don't know how it says I'm going to win this, but if the auto-resolve's going to give it to me, then I am totally taking it. Like, absolutely. Thanks, auto-resolve. I don't say that very often, but thank you. After the trash I just suffered in the other battle, I will take that to the bank. That's fantastic. I can't really backstab the Gaiatuli right now as much as I would like to because I want to control that entire province. If I backstab the Gaiatuli,
but only if you see matters as they are, not as you wish.
You know, no one learns the lesson about becoming a satrapy. It's like they prefer being dead to just being a satrapy. I mean, you get all the benefits of being protected. You get the privilege of paying a tribute to Antiochus. I mean, what's wrong with these people? What's wrong with these people, man? Don't they recognize a good deal when they see it? Alright, we are becoming wildly powerful, and I love it. I love it. Yeah, Attila did have some good improvements. I hated the climate system in Attila, though. It was truly awful.
Will take it.
Do I need a peace treaty from the Nori? That is a lot of gold. I could take it for the time being, and then just break it in like 10 turns. Sure. I guess they're gonna leave their allies out to dry. Oh no, we lost our trade agreement with Sardes. I think Tylus has been attacking them. Get our supplies sabotaged over here. So it took away some campaign movement range, unfortunately. I'm gonna take this army and move to Yadr. And I'm gonna, just in case... I'm gonna see if it's any nicer to my elephants when I take a defensive stance. Nope, I'm gonna have to save scum that, because they killed off my elephant unit. I put it on defensive, and it says it helps you whenever you have a lot of missiles, and it still was bad. This stuff's so annoying, like, I'm glad the auto-resolve is better in the newer games, and it is, and at least it tells you when it's going to cheat you of your units, so you don't have to do this quick save and then save scum method. Like, it at least tells you, hey, I'm gonna ruin your unit here. Like, it tells you that up front, but the auto-resolve needs so much work. Like, it still needs so much work. And no, I don't want to auto-resolve every battle in my campaign in perpetuity, right? That's not why I want the auto-resolve to be better. I want it to be better because there are times when I just want to move the campaign along, and I shouldn't be forced to fight every one of these battles in person just because the auto-resolve is so outlandishly terrible. Like, I mean, just terrible. Like, what you all have seen in the last couple. Like, even that one where the Roman fleet attacked me, you might be like, Air, you weren't complaining about that one. No, because it favored me. But it was still terrible, right? The auto-resolve there was awful. It was wrong. That Roman fleet probably could have defeated me, even considering that it was going to be in melee or something. Like, I still think they could have defeated me. So it's like, it gets it wrong every time. It's just that every now and then, it favors you. So, I don't know, the auto-resolve is just terrible. Like, just hands down awful in Rome 2. It is better in some of the newer titles, but I don't want to give it a lot of credit because it doesn't deserve much credit. I'm gonna go ahead and get up here and start firing. These guys want to camp for some reason. So I'll just let them die to my archer fire. Even hoplites with relatively decent armor and shields are gonna die. Alright, my Persian archers have mowed down a significant portion of the Illyrian hoplites. The slave javelin men are moving into range, so I'm gonna go ahead and give them some attention. It's not gonna be attention that they look forward to. I'll let you all see them take one of these devastating volleys from my Persian archers. I do like the Persian archers. I wish I had Syrian heavies, though. Alright, so I'm just gonna fall back, turn around, slaughter the slave javelins. Alright, we got the slave javelin men. I'm gonna get the other unit of them now. My thorax swords have engaged. Javelin men are being massacred. Go for this Illyrian hoplite unit here. I'm gonna move in for the finishing touches. The enemy fleet landed. I'm gonna take my cavalry and move towards the town so that I can put an end to their fleet reinforcements. Alright, so we've crushed the pathetic Ardiaei garrison. which somehow was going to kill off our Indian elephants, which is kind of hilarious on its face, because obviously that wasn't going to happen. At no point in this battle were my elephants under any threat. At no point in this battle did the Illyrians have any way to even potentially threaten my elephants. In fact, my elephants are sitting comfortably in the back of the battle, completely unthreatened. Because as I just pointed out, the Ardiaei have no such way to threaten those units. They have a few units who are capable of hurting my elephants, but how? Only if I wander them right in front of their units, fortuitously for the Ardiaei. And when does the auto-resolve get off thinking that anybody in their right mind is going to do that? And I guess that helps show us that the auto-resolve isn't of its right mind, because they do that. There we go. There's the auto-resolve. It's what it should have been in the auto-resolve. Like, I have a massive range supremacy. It's very clear who's going to win this fight, and in what manner they're going to win it. Take away every archer I had, and the result still isn't very different. So, there we go. We have owned the Ardiaei, and sent most of their stuff running. They do have a fleet there, which might try to move south to Apollonia, but we do have some garrisons across the coast here, so they're not going to find a super easy target along the way. Yader, we need to convert. I should have raised this settlement, so I once again made that same mistake. My bad. Actually think I'm going to Domnos. Epidomnos is actually not going to have appropriate garrison. There we go. There we go. So I want to make sure we have a decent garrison across these. None of them are going to be great, but, you know, I want something there that can help. Since we're at so much war over here, I'm going to be upgrading some of these military facilities around Hellas and Macedonia. We're going to need some really capable recruitment in order to assure our dominance. So Hannibal, coming fresh off his massive ambush of the Helvetii, they have an army that is in a camp stance. They have some Etruscan hoplites. This is a cool unit. Unfortunately for the Etruscan hoplites, CA gave them a really bad weapon damage. These guys would have been really awesome with the 29 or 30 weapon damage spear. I feel like there's a lot of elite hoplites in this game that didn't get the right weapon damage stat, and it ruined them.
Ready for orders.
Whereas they would have been quite good if they would have gotten just that one stat change.
Ready for
You know what we could do? I wish you could surround their encampment and hold them there. We cannot, so I'm going to go ahead and just massacre the Helvetii here. Get their little encampment out of the way so that Hannibal can come and retake Rome and show the Romans how to manage their own city. Let's start our deployment. And we're going to be heavily relying on our archers here.
We await your orders. Melee infantry at your command.
I do have one sword unit that's going to probably need to sit this one out, just to be safe. Cavalry over here. Have them sit back here on watch. Okay, let's get this going. Scoot up to the edge of enemy tower range. There we go. Alright, let's fast forward. Etruscan hoplites are holding this forward gate. A lot of slingers. Fortunately for me, the encampment maps are really bad, and they make it extremely difficult. Like, the only way these encamp maps are really of any benefit is if the enemy doesn't have you outranged with missiles. If they don't, then I kind of feel like these encampments are kind of a benefit, because you can fight the enemy on your own terms from a massive choke point. But outside of that, like, I just don't think these maps are designed well. Like, this is a tiny fort. You can't properly maneuver in it Like, you can't, like, there's no wall up here for your archers to fire off of or anything. Like, it's just, and I understand, like, it's just a quick fort they throw up, right? I don't expect it to be like stone walls or anything, but it's just not easily defended, and I don't think they're very well designed. There are occasions when you have pikes and archers where they're pretty nice to defend, but there's a lot of times when they are kind of crappy to defend. Okay, so these two towers are about to be burned down. I'm not going to use too much of my ammo on this, just a little. There we go. Nope, nope, nope. There you go. Stay back. There we go. Alright, so both towers are on fire and will soon be gone. I'm running these Thurio spears over to here. I'm going to burn these other two towers from behind. Once we've dealt with the towers, we can get to work elsewhere. I'm going to fast forward just to let those towers finish burning down. Trying to minimize losses, because I may need to fight another battle here very soon. Right, towers are down.
We await your command. Understood. Ready your weapons. Your orders.
Alright, so let me get these Thurio spears in position. My archers have moved into range. I'm gonna start targeting enemy slingers. I'm gonna swap over to standard shot instead of flaming missiles. Flaming missiles don't cause as much damage. They're better against buildings, and when you're trying to drop morale, they're not better whenever you're trying to go for max damage. Whistling shot would be really cool if it didn't, like, it's impossible to use whistling shot without affecting your own troops. So otherwise I would be pretty into whistling shot under certain circumstances. They need to make it like it is in Warhammer, where you're... Actually, yeah, if I remember right, we're going to have to probably manually move way up and do this. Alright, so we've gotten rid of quite a few of the slingers. There's just a few Celtic slingers left here. Yep, now see the AI is being forced to sally out. I'm going to meet them with my pikemen. Continue to mow down slingers. Alright, let's get into Phalanx formation. And we are going to rush into the fort. The battle was always in our favor. There's never any question as to where this battle was, unless you're the auto-resolve. Alright, so we've got these guys trapped. They can't fight through my formation. Bring Hannibal in just to get a little bit of finishing done here.
We are at your command. For honor!
Spear infantry at your orders.
Ready?
Alright, here comes Hanny. Here's Hanny. Look at this. Look at the position that Hannibal's got these Helvetii in. Hannibal owns the Helvetii, the same that he owns the Romans at this point. Come on, elephants. These are light units. Let's push our way through. Here's Hannibal. He looks pretty good for 75. You know, I hope I look that cool at 75 on top of an elephant. Still have all my hair. Alright, so the Helvetii are going to be absolutely crushed in a massacre of epic proportion. All they have left is this Oathsworn. The Oathsworn was not doing any good against my pikemen, but it also was just not really able to hold out. Get that second wind there. Hannibal's got some really clutch army abilities. Second wind is huge. Like, it is huge. Because your troops fight so much worse and move so much slower whenever they're tired. He has second wind group, which will get everything in a surrounding area, and he's also got just second wind where you can pick it on one unit. It makes a huge difference at the right time. You should never underestimate it. Okay, so I'm gonna release the captives here. Just keep cashing in on all of our battles. So that is a big win for Hannibal. And leaves Rome rather open to invasion on the next turn, and that we will do. So hopefully Hannibal can last one more turn. He's made it this long. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. I had a lot of fun making it. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the continued support that you all provide. We do still have the Romans alive at a couple of settlements, though I don't think that's going to last long. Let's take Carolus here. Hopefully we don't lose any units in the process, because I didn't quick save. Alright. It is a Latin settlement, so I'm going to raise it and build it. Here are the ports. There we go. So now we'll properly build this. Build up Carolus. So we will get it switched over into Hellenic culture. So folks, we are making massive progress. Massive progress. In fact, we've got a lot of Italy under our control. The Romans weren't quite the giant threat that I was hoping we would see, but looks like we'd be in for an... Oh my gosh, look at this, the Iceni. The Iceni may be our big fight. What the heck? Now I'm going to bring this dignitary back. Now, interesting enough, the Iceni didn't expand north, but they have come south? And apparently now, my agent may have been what caused them to lose that settlement there too. I don't know, because, like I said, this mod works on the fog of war not being lifted. But in any case, I hope you all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. See you next time with some more action in the Seleucid campaign.